Welcome back to the Mount to Be Clean podcast. Thank you for joining us today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ashley. I operate a small cleaning business in Rocky Mountains of Alberta. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, Facebook as well. Or you can listen to us on Spotify. So yeah, I'm so grateful to be sharing our stories with you. And hopefully we can shed some light on our industry and have a lot of fun and laughs along the way. This is supposed to come out on the first Wednesday of every single month. Last Wednesday was a holiday, and some podcasts do come out on holidays and some don't, and I don't know what I prefer, so this time I decided to try to take the holiday off and do the podcast the next week. Started this podcast because I wanted to educate everyone on what it actually takes to run a small business, specifically cleaning. That it costs a lot of money to provide the service for you guys, and that as a cleaner, you are allowed to make a profit on top of that. You don't just have to do cleans for free. You don't have to do them at cost. You're allowed to make your 20%, 30%, 50%, whatever you feel is your worth. That's what you should make. And I don't always like saying what your worth is, because I don't charge according to my worth. I charge according to my costs, and then I put a percentage of profit on top of that. And I clean to that standard. I know that it costs a lot of money for a clean, so that's why our standards are so high. I had no intention of creating this much content. But people think you can do cleans for $20 an hour today, and that's just not going to cut it. That doesn't even pay for one of my staff. So hopefully I can help people learn, educate the clients, educate other cleaners who are still undercharging. And if you're one of them, there are so many great cleaners out there who are online who can give you the right tools to create the right numbers for you. And it's not always what is in your area. That's not good advice. Don't use that advice. You're invoicing based off of what your costs are. That's it. I also wanted to have some fun with the content, so we're going to hear some good stories from the front lines. I use Reddit stories. I tell my own stories. And when I have guests, I get them to tell their stories. I have no time for fakeness. It's way too time consuming, so what you see is what you get when you join us. Let's get started. One thing that I wanted to mention is I just spent the last hour of our work day with my staff figuring out a better system and a better standard operating procedure to help us forget things less when we go to our cleans. So that last hour was spent on going over our SOPs, refilling the packs, refilling the bottles for the packs, refilling all of our items, double checking everything. And I will double check a pack and still forget stuff. My staff will double check packs and they still forget stuff. So we had to stop making excuses for it, stop over explaining it, and actually sit down and brainstorm ideas as to how we can make sure our packs are ready for our cleans the next day. And we just spent the last hour doing that. It was Katie and I, and we brainstormed some really good stuff and came up with some really great ideas. The point of that is I paid her to do that. That's part of running a legitimate cleaning business, is the training parts and the retraining parts and all the time spent outside of the clean that help us set up for the clean and to serve you guys better. I want to put that in there because it's not just what you see when we're at your house or when we leave your house, but it's also behind the scenes stuff. So thank you, Katie. I think we came up with some really good ideas to help us stop forgetting things. We're only human, but we know that everything's figure outable and we can do better jobs and have higher standards for you guys. And if you are a cleaner out there who never forgets stuff, please send your energy to me because I need that. And that'll help us in the future. Okay, so our first Reddit story is from our Airbnb, and it says, did the dishes, washed the towels, took out the trash, left a day early, still got a bad review. Hello, hotels. They were a guest in Georgia. It says, hey guys, my wife and I just got slapped with this review after a month-long stay. Overall tidiness and cleanliness of the apartment was left below expectations. Before we left, we loaded and started the dishwasher, washed the towels, took out the rubbish. We even checked out a full day early due to a 4 a.m. flight more than 24 hours earlier than our official checkout, and gave the hosts a heads up so they can access the unit ahead of time. Sure, dust builds up over a month. We didn't do a floor to ceiling deep clean, but we made sure the kitchen was wiped down. The place was fine. No dirty dishes, no trash. What more do these hosts actually want? They're charging cleaning fees anyway. Or should we spend the night before an exhausting early flight scrubbing the floors? This level of entitlement is exactly why people are pivoting back to hotels and apart hotels. We do the right thing and handle the basic chores, but expecting guests to deep clean your property is absurd. A review like this just makes me wonder why we bother trying it all. If we're going to get dinged for leaving a perfectly acceptable apartment, we might as well just leave the mess on the floor and say F it. I'll definitely be using alternative platforms after this more often. Honestly, some of you need to touch grass. That guest doesn't seem very happy. Let's see what the comments say, and then I'll go into my own opinion and my own experience with Airbnbs. As a host, I would be a commenter says, as a host, I would be over the moon if my guests did as much as you did. Some do, some don't. Another one says, me too. If my guests don't even follow, some of my guests don't even follow check out instructions, but I don't ding them for it. Another commenter says, same experience currently. The hosts were inspecting the property while we were there. That's weird. We reported them to Airbnb, and when we checked out, they left us a horrible review. We took videos of how they left the home, and surprise, surprise, they said we left the home in complete disarray, which couldn't be further from the truth. This person says at the beginning of the year, their experience is, I stayed at an apartment next to the beach in Puerto Rico and was hit with a bad review about how there was too much sand left in the unit. Mind you, they had no broom in the place, and I also hate stepping on dirt with my feet inside, so I was constantly pushing this sand into a pile with my feet. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so this person stayed at an Airbnb, and they did the dishes, and they washed the towels, took out the rubbish. That's basically standard for most Airbnbs. I don't think I've cleaned an Airbnb where they were required to do more than that. It's usually dishes have to be done, garbage has to be taken out. Sometimes people will say to strip the beds, but I think that you should not get your guests to do that because there are a lot of layers to beds, and some Airbnb hosts will wash the duvet and change it out every time, and some don't. Some Airbnb hosts will wash the mattress cover and change it out every time, and some don't. So that's when it gets confusing when you tell the guests to strip the beds. Even if you say leave the mattress cover on there, they don't know the difference. This person stayed for a full month, so that is going to be a lot of buildup. Some of your guys' houses, after we haven't been there for a month, is almost a heavy clean in some of the places, like toilets and kitchens. Not all after a month, but some of them are, especially bathrooms. So I can see why the host probably thought that the place was dirty, but it would have been dirty. Like, they're there for a month. That's what you should expect as a host. The fact that they left a day early too, like, that's awesome. They left a day early, which meant that they probably paid for that day. And also, you got to go in there and clean that now. You have a whole extra day to turn that over for the next guest whenever they come. So I feel like that's a bonus for you. I don't think there was a need to leave a review like that, but also, like, if you've actually looked into the Airbnb reviews are very much skewed because nobody wants to get a bad review. So they don't give a bad review, even if the host was shitty or even if the guest was shitty. They all still get good reviews. I had Airbnb hosts who would review the guests before I even walked into the room to tell them whether it was acceptable or not. And there are definitely times where it was not acceptable, where it was like dirty, like pizza still in the oven, like a full pizza in the oven, and just pop spilled everywhere. Like, so take the reviews at Airbnb with a grain of salt, because like you could have a shitty host who's just getting good reviews because the guests don't want to be dinged like these guys were. I like this commenter said about the not having a broom in place. Guys, if you're an Airbnb host, I suggest that you have like a cordless vacuum and cleaning supplies available to people. 90% of them won't use it, but 10% of them will. And I think just having it there might sway more people to use it, especially if they spill something and just need to quickly wipe it up. Because yeah, most people who do spill stuff don't want to be walking around and spilled coffee beans the whole stay that they're there. They're going to want to clean it up. Most people, not everyone. I feel sorry for that guest though, because yeah, now they're probably not going to get accepted into a lot of other Airbnbs because their overall rating has gone down. Airbnb, take it or leave it. That was our Reddit story number 1. So we're going to go on to our Reddit story number 2, guys. Let me know what your experiences are with Airbnbs and if you still use them, if you prefer hotels. I don't think that they're going anywhere. I know a lot of people start on Airbnb and try to get off of it so they don't have to pay all the fees to Airbnb. I've had some really great Airbnb hosts, and I have had some really shitty Airbnb hosts that I've cleaned for. All of their cleaning rules are very, very similar. But I've had some good guests that I've cleaned after, and I've had some shitty guests that I've cleaned after too. So, okay, Reddit story number 2 is from Cleaning Tips. It's called Horrible Smell in a Bedroom. General cleaning. My son's 16, and it's not a boy smell. Not a boy smell. It smells like rotten meat or cat and dog food. Oh my god, the smell is so bad, even with his window wide open. He left his door open earlier, and it traveled into my room and the hallway. We have checked everywhere for anything that could be causing it, but nothing. We moved rooms a couple weeks ago, so it's not something that's been there for a long time. Does anyone have any idea what it could be? Okay, there's a lot of people in here saying all sorts of things. The fact that this person moved a couple weeks ago and the room's empty, I'm assuming, is a bit strange. The only thing that I can think of is something like crawled into a wall and died, or a vent. But let's hear what some of the commenters have to say. One very nasty, stubborn stench I can think of is the smell of protein shake bottle that gym bros use if it's left unattended and unwashed. It reeks and it lingers. Someone at my office once left one of those in a desk drawer and went on vacation for 3 weeks. It was closed when they left, but it popped open. Can confirm it is vile smell and it spreads. You could smell it across the whole building. Yeah, those things are nasty. Protein drinks, right? My cousin had a strawberry protein shake, another one, explode, and it was like vomit. He hired professional cleaners. They could not get rid of the smell. We ended up replacing the rug and carpet, mattress covers, everything. It was terrible. It was summer and not air conditioned. The smell made grown men gag. Ask your son to clean out his bags, drawers, and room. So yeah, sometimes cleaners can't clean it. Okay, this is why it's really important to have a cleaning structure and maintain your shit. Otherwise, you're replacing all that stuff. Sometimes cleaners can't clean it. So that's why it can't be something that if they moved rooms, and it can't be that unless they also took that with them. If the other room doesn't smell, then who knows what it is, right? So this guy says, if the room didn't smell before the room switch, then it is something your son owns. which is weird because why isn't his new room smelling? So I'm not saying he knows what it is, but something got smashed or unsealed or unfolded during the move. Honestly, at 16, I would expect him to at least try to find it himself. Plus, that may save him some embarrassment. If he can't find it, tell him you will go through everything he owns, like an episode of CSI, carry things out one at a time to some other holding area, and you'll be able to tell when the smell leaves the room. I have 3 older brothers, and I think every bad smell can be a boy smell. That's cute. Yeah, just blame it on the boys. So one thing that might help is a black light. Like, honestly, I can't remember who was telling me about this, but they had a cat that had peed in their hallway, and they're like washing the hallway, and they thought they got every spot, but they could still smell the cat pee. So they just got a black light and checked it, and there's a little bit up on the wall in a spot that they just didn't miss underneath the table, that they just didn't see underneath the table. So a black light may help. I don't know. Actually, no. I know it gets like bodily fluids, but does it get other stuff? I have no idea. It might. Who knows? If somebody has used a black light to try to find smell, let me know if you've found anything other than bodily fluids. So this person says, I've been through this. Everything I'm about to say will be horrifically embarrassing. So first, swap out soaps. Dial soap made my son smell like he was actively rotten. Dove bar soap was the answer. Second, mop the walls, especially around the toilet areas. I don't ask why. I don't care why. I just know it helps. Yes. If you have a smell that you can't get rid of in your house, you're going to clean everything. Fourth, hygiene issues. This is where we all die inside. I'm sorry. Are they changing their underwear regularly? Are they changing towels regularly? Are they using antiperspirant, not deodorant? Are they using it regularly? And finally, are they properly hydrated? In my experience, the smell was a high stress smell that came off my teens. Teens are under a lot of pressure, or are they under a lot of stress? Are they gaming and stressing themselves out? Yeah, that's something I never even thought of. It could be any of that. It could be them. It could be their stuff. Or a lot of people had actually said that it was rotten food. So I didn't write down all of those ones, but this one kid had shrimp in his backpack that he was using for fishing, and the shrimp he was using to bait the fish. So that smelled really bad. And in my own experience, I remember one time somebody had given my mom beets, and she just like threw everything that she had in her hands in my closet and forgot about the beets. They were in there. And we started to smell a rotten smell, but it was specifically at the closet, found the beets, threw it out. It didn't like protrude anywhere else or get stuck in anything else. So yeah, hygiene is a big one, guys. Like, this is where my checklist that I made for cleaning helps with this, because taking care of yourself and taking care of your environment is a form of self-love and self-respect. And that way, if they start at the ages of 2, 3, 4, 5, then when they get to 13, 14, 15, 16, it won't be so overwhelming for them to add those habits on. And who wants their kid to walk around smelling bad? And who wants their kid to have a room that smells bad? Like, we don't want that. So whatever this is, I'm sorry that's happening to you. It literally could be anything, in any event, at any corner. You think that you got it all and you've checked every space, but you probably are missing some. If you are not literally doing wall by wall by wall and honestly getting into the vents that are there, look in the light fixtures if you have them, take them down, clean those out, like clean the ceiling, clean the floors, wash the walls, everything. Clean the window tracks, clean the screens, like all of that needs to be done. The vents need to be done. It's probably going to take you a good 3, 4, 5 hours to clean just this bedroom, to heavy clean it, especially if it's never been done before. That was our Reddit story number 2. Okay? Let me know what's the worst thing that you guys smelled. The worst thing that I smelled was walking into an Airbnb, and I was with my coworker, and I'm so glad she was there because I have witness to this smell, and she had done a lot of cleans before too. And both of us, both her and I, had said we have never smelled anything that freaking foul. Oh my God. I don't even think, like, we opened the windows, we opened the doors. The person who was coming next had asked for an early check-in. There's no way that smell was gone whenever we left. It was like they ate hot garbage and shit it out of their pants. It was so bad. That's my worst smell. Let me know what your worst smell is. Reddit story number 3, guys. It goes along pretty fast without somebody else here, but it's way more fun with somebody else. But I need to practice doing this, so. This one is from our homemaking. I hired a housekeeper and wanted to know, besides picking up clutter, what else should I do so they don't hate to come in, lol. Like, I told my kids they had to clean the toilet before the cleaners get here because I'm terrified they'll see poo or pee. Is this too far? Okay. Every cleaner's going to have their own standard of what they want done before they get to your house, depending on what they offer. So let's see what the comments say. These are from other cleaners, and these are from people who have cleaners. First commenter says, wild take, but ask them, how should I prepare for your visit? Then do as they say. The housekeeper I had was very clear she didn't want me to do anything, but I was hiring her as a helper, not just a cleaner. Others will need you to do certain things like pick up, but some won't. But for the love of God, don't clean before they clean. That is a waste of money. Trust me, they've seen it all. Yes, you do not have to clean up pee and poop in a toilet before we get there. Do you have to flush your toilet? And if there's like a biohazard, a clean around the toilet, yes, that is your job to do, or that is a company who does biohazards job to do. If there's pee and poop a little bit, it doesn't matter. Like, we absolutely have seen it all. OP says she said during the walkthrough that she's laid back and just worked through whatever. She did say dishes were extra, which is understandable. Okay, this is where I don't really like this comment. Correct me if you have a different opinion. Let me know in the comments, but I don't think that it's fair to say that you're laid back and you will do whatever. That's not clear communication, and it's really confusing to the house owner, which is why she's on here asking for more advice. Know what you do accept and know what you don't accept, and make sure you communicate that to your client. They won't always listen to you. You can literally get them to sign stuff saying that they understand what you said, and then they will complain about the very thing that you explained to them that you didn't do or that you needed them to do. You need to tell them what you expect of them so that they know what to expect of you. Another commenter says, I like to not have any towels or rugs in the bathroom. I use this as wash day. I try to have most stuff picked up off the floor, cat toys, etc. Another person says, if the service you use includes bed-in changes, I would have the bed stripped and the laundry pile sorted. I would also have the bed-in you would like placed on the bed so the housekeeper can just go in straight in to make the bed. Here is different, and they're allowed to be different, and they're allowed to want to do things and to not want to do things. At our company, we expect you guys to declutter your spaces because, like, we really want to get the grime and the calcium buildup and the dirt and the grease. And if there's clutter all around the spaces that we clean, like, A, it's a liability because now we're touching all your stuff. B, we're probably going to lose it because we don't know where it all goes. C, it's taken way too much time to put that stuff away, and now we have to still do the actual clean. Other cleaners, they'll go in, they'll put it all away for you. They have no problem doing that, and then they'll do the clean. I think it's more value for us to do the heavy cleaning, which is all the stuff that's been there for a week. The daily chores of decluttering, doing your dishes, picking up after yourself, you need to do that on your own. And that's also because we have standards for our clients too. Like, we're a team and they're helping us make the clean work just as much as we're cleaning to make the clean work. It goes both ways in our company for sure. Like, we work with like really great clients. All of them are great. So they know that we're on a team with them and we work together to make it the best clean that we can. And that includes them correcting us on things that we miss. But as far as like pee and poo goes and like things like that, like, don't clean that up. If you had spilt a bunch of coffee grinds and you left it there for a week, then yeah, I would probably like do your daily chores. If you spill your coffee grinds, clean it up into the garbage, and then we'll go in and get the stuff that gets underneath all the toasters and all the appliances that are on your counter. Okay, if you spilled a bunch of popcorn seeds all over the popcorn kernels all over the ground, like, you're gonna go in, you're gonna sweep it up and get it, and then we're gonna get the stuff that gets lodged into the little corners of the ground, right? So that's the point of, you're doing your daily chores, cleaning up after yourself. We're coming in and we're doing all the stuff that's hidden, basically. That's how I see it. Other cleaners are going to be different. Like I said, they're tell you to leave your spilt popcorn kernels all over the ground, but they'll come in and fix it. Like, that's what they want to do. That's cool. They don't have to do what we do, and we don't have to do what they do. That was Reddit story number 3. That was a good one. So this is Reddit story number 4. It goes pretty fast with just me here, and these are smaller podcasts, so they're good to put on while you're doing your dishes or driving in your car. And I really do hope that I'm serving you in some way that is helping you understand better how the clean works, especially from our company, and why it actually costs so much to run a business. And this isn't just cleaning. This is like if you had a lawn care business, if you had a pet care business, if you had a freaking lemonade stand, guys, you're going to have similar expenses, and those expenses need to be put off onto the clients. Like, that is literally the only way that you can pay for that. If you had investors, you would have to pay them back. So where is that money coming from? You can't borrow from Peter to pay Paul. You just have to charge it to the clients. And like, the ones who know that, thank you. And the ones who don't, hopefully this educates you. Reddit story number 4 is from Homemaking. This one I really loved. It's cute. So hopefully you like it too. The person says, am I actually enjoying my cleaning routine, or am I just trying to trick myself into doing it? Lately, I've been trying to clean up the kitchen and reset the counters every night before bed so I'm not starting my day in a total mess. It's definitely helped me avoid that morning chaos that used to ruin my start to the day. But lately, I've been questioning my own motivation. Sometimes while I'm dusting or scrubbing, I wonder if I'm genuinely enjoying the rhythm of it, or if I'm just over romanticizing chores to make them feel more meaningful than they really are, just so I don't get hit by the weight of how constant and repetitive this maintenance actually is. When I first moved out, I didn't realize how much homemaking was just endless maintenance. Does anyone else feel like they're performing a version of cozy, put together homemaker just to trick themselves into doing the work? I'm trying to keep this rhythm going without feeling like I'm just managing my life instead of just actually living it. How do you keep the maintenance mindset without it feeling like a chore you're constantly trying to talk yourself into? I freaking love this. I love everything they said. I relate to a lot of it. Let's read what the first commenter says, and then I'll give my opinion on it. I think the point of romanticizing your life is to find beauty in the mundane, in the labor. It's just a mindset shift to help look at things in a more positive light. I like to view myself as a cozy homemaker because it makes it more fun versus looking at myself like a maid. I also do think that life, no matter if you work a career or stay at home, is mostly work, and finding peace with that makes it a lot more enjoyable. I definitely try to make some of the tasks I do rewarding. Like I enjoy working on my garden so I can harvest beautiful food and flowers. I like decorating and cleaning my house so it's warm and cozy for my family and welcoming for my guests. I like to cook and bake because it's delicious and nourishing. That's beautiful. Another person says, unfortunately, I have failed at every attempt to make it feel like anything but a chore. Because it is. It's a job, a hard one, which is why so many people live in filth. If it was easy, it would be easy to keep an immaculate house while working a full-time job. And it's not. It's really damn hard. I find you can romanticize it and force yourself to do it. You have to do both because your motivation will fail on certain days, but it's just something you have to do, like brushing your teeth. The best thing I've got is light a beautiful candle and listen to an audiobook. I just read a biography on Abigail Adams while doing house chores last week, and it was so good. I found myself not dreading mopping as much. Don't get it twisted. I love what I do, but generally it's hard work. My hands hurt. Do I want to clean up dinner when I just busted my ass making it and it's 7? Hell to the no, but I do it anyway every night. I think it's more valuable to ask, why am I doing this chore instead of, do I personally want to do this? Because if I followed my personal whims, I'd never do anything chore-wise. Now, what do I love? When all the candles are lit at night and I see how beautifully maintained it is. Now that brings me lots of incredible joy. Someone says you don't have to actively enjoy something to know it's worth doing. I love all those comments, and it's the truth. And I might get a little bit deep here. In my opinion, I never saw chores as a negative part of life. Like, I see chores as just living life. I see going to the grocery store as just living life. I see maintaining my yard as just living life. I don't see it as a task list at all. At all. I don't hate it. Sometimes I'm not motivated to do it. But I enjoy it because right now in my life, it's the small little thing that I can actually control and contribute to self-respect, self-love, and keeping myself in a mindset that helps me to provide for others. I always loved cleaning. Most cleaners who have been in it for a long time do. There are people who are in careers that should not be in those careers, and that's everywhere. I do think that you can romanticize it and that you could hate it at the same time. Or I do think that you, like the other commenter said, that you can romanticize it and force yourself to do it at the same time. And that's not just with cleaning. Like, once you guys get your head straight for the one thing that you're avoiding, you'll see how it actually fits into all the other parts of your life. So for me, for working out, I do like working out, but I do have to force myself to do it most times. It's not like cleaning. Like, I could clean my house every day. Every day, pick something to clean. Like, I vacuum 6 out of 7 days a week. Easy. My kitchen is cleaned up in the morning, right before the girls get here. My kitchen is cleaned up at night, right before I go to bed. I love doing my laundry and putting it out on the line, like raking leaves, making my yard. Like, that to me, like, I love that shit. But working out, I know it's good for me. I like it sometimes, but I have to force myself to do it. And I have to romanticize that shit too. Like the cute outfit, the music, the motivational quotes. Like, that's me. That's like, this girl's for cleaning, that's me for working out. And once you figure out that that's pretty much how you have to approach everything that you want to do in life, it gets a lot easier to accept. Not everything is going to be something that you love to do. Romanticize the shit out of it because we're not here for a long time and we want to make the things that we have to do fun. You don't have to actively enjoy something to know it's worth doing. Anyways, that was our Reddit story number 4. We're going to do one more because after I cut this, it'll be pretty short. So let's do this. This is from our housekeeping. It says, housekeepers, what has your customer purchased recently that made your job that a little bit more difficult? Mine has bought a 3-foot long plastic shoe rack that falls to pieces as soon as you move it. This is funny. So many people said ruggables and rugs. They say, I hate ruggables. Yes, can't vacuum them. The clients don't really wash them. They're under furniture. I end up sweeping them mostly. Cool. I am a client. I have a couple of ruggables. I feel bad for my cleaning lady. They're just so jacked up after. That's funny. I like it that this person can just like, they know that their house cleaner's struggling and they just laugh at it. And it's just like probably a really cute relationship. I got good vibes from them. This person says, I honestly get more annoyed at old things that need replacing or fixing, like a picture frame that always falls down flat on its hinge, or a table leg or baseboard that falls down if you touch it. There's a house I clean that never has hot water or the toilet flush handles attached. Besides that, being a pain to clean, I don't know how they live like that. Yeah, that's a good one too. Things that need to be repaired. One of my clients has added several pieces of gym equipment to his home office. Stationary bike with screen, weight benches, weight racks, pulley system, large mirrors, and it has definitely added to my workload. I need to increase the rate for this clean due to the extra time I'm spending cleaning these things. Yes, when people add stuff, you're allowed to ask for more money because now you have more items to clean. Somebody else says a puppy. Another person says, one of my clients collects Legos, the flower collection, the car collection, the holiday collections, you name it, it's there. And don't get me started on the duck collection. Let's just say Dustin can be tedious. Yes. What is one thing that your customer has purchased has made your job a bit more difficult? I can't think of anything recently, but I would say my biggest thing would be the Lego stuff. I don't touch those and move those because those are so difficult to those are so hard to move. And anything that's broken is like a big thing too. Like there's some places where the same baseboard just falls down every single time. Fall. Especially in Airbnbs when those things aren't being fixed. It's hard not to take it personal because you want to do a good job cleaning. And then I always felt like I wasn't doing a good job cleaning when things were broken because I felt like I'm the last person to leave that Airbnb and it needs to be fixed and look proper when I leave. And if it's not fixed, I'd have a mini panic attack and leave. But that's a good one. The 3-foot long plastic shoe rack that falls. Like I don't move shoe racks I would not move that shoe rack. I don't even move shoe racks unless it is a heavy clean or they're asking me to like do a special to clean the closet. It has to be a really small shoe rack in order for me to move it. That was a good one. Most of our clients don't have things that annoy me. I personally love it as a cleaner if they have one of those robot vacuums. It doesn't mean that we're going to charge you less because your floors are more clean. No, we still have to vacuum and we still have to get into corners. We still have to pull the fur off the bottom of the chairs. We still have to get underneath things and we still have to mop. Like it's still a thing. It's just nice way for you guys to maintain it daily. And like I said, I vacuum almost every single day. If I hired a house cleaner, I would expect them to vacuum and get into all the corners and everything that I just said, and I would still pay them for that. Yeah, that's 5 stories, guys. Those are all good ones. They're all different ones. They're really good. And I was hoping to do them with my staff, but one went home sick and the other one we spent figuring out how to serve you guys better with forgetting stuff less. So the clean is always going to come first. The podcasts and the videos and the mukbangs, those are always going to come second. It's still crazy to me how many cleaners out there are still just making up numbers that they charge their clients. I get some comments on some of my videos about it too. And I always say to them, like, my numbers aren't made up. I can tell you exactly where every penny that you pay me, I can tell you exactly where it goes. And if every cleaner was tracking their numbers weekly, they would be similar to mine. They would. I can't imagine another cleaner having much lower or way higher than mine. Like, one of the major differences for price wise, I think, with my company versus other cleaners is not just the staff, but the fact that I pay my staff from the time they get here to the time they leave. And there's a couple of reasons why I do that. One is because it's not a job that you drive to and you stay at for 8 hours and get paid for those 8 hours. Okay. If they were just going to work at 7-Eleven, they would get paid for those full 8 hours. So in order for them to get paid for 8 hours, they would have to be out of their house for probably 10 hours minimum. Because there's the drive time, the start, the setup times, and the putting away times. The setup times and the takedown times. So in order for them to get paid actually cleaning for 8 hours, they'd probably have to be out of their home for 10. Okay. Two is because they do use their vehicle to drive to and from places. That's not nothing. Okay. They are using their vehicle. They're picking up the supplies. They're driving to your house. They're driving in wintertime. They're driving in traffic time. That's not nothing. They get paid for that. That is what helps maintain the expenses of their vehicle. Okay. If I could pay them more, or if I could give them the world, I would. They're not driving to a place, parking their car for 8 hours, and then driving home to pick up their kids. Okay. Number 3 is because, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I pay my staff to troubleshoot problems with me. I pay my staff to train. I pay my staff to help me run the business on the backside too. They don't take the supplies home and have to figure it out on their own without pay. They bring it back to the office. We clean it all. We set it up for the next day. They get paid to do that. I think it would be very difficult to just hire somebody who works random times. You'd have to put them in the schedule randomly. And I don't think that they would stick around very long. And you wouldn't have any good ones who would stick around long anyways, because of the lack of consistency in pay. That is the biggest difference in expense that I can think of when it comes to my cleans versus other people's cleans. Besides the fact that I actually charge my expenses out to you guys and I put a profit on top of that. I have deja vu because I've said this so many times. But I'm going to keep saying it because I'm doing it the proper way. I'm proud of the stuff that I've accomplished. I'm proud of my staff. I'm proud that I've stuck it in this long, even with a lot of people trying to make it hard and difficult for me. But I know if I keep going, I will outperform them and I'll outperform myself. And I have no choice because I have people who are relying on me to feed their family. And that's what I'm going to do. And if you guys want to be a part of that and want to help spread the awareness that some cleaners need to stop charging so little, and spread the awareness of how much it actually costs to run a legitimate business, follow me and share this with people. Send me your Send me the stuff that you've gone through, and I will help explain that and pass that along. And like I really I really hope that this strikes a chord with people. I've driven myself literally crazy thinking about it over and over and over and over again, how I can make it less expensive for you guys, and there's just no way. If other cleaners charged what I charged, then we can actually focus on the fun stuff of the fun competition of cleaning, like who has better toilet paper folds and who has better pets that they can pet. I don't know. But I'm going to keep going. Anyways, that's it for today, friends. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I really do. Like I said, share it, subscribe, follow. We're on YouTube and Spotify for the podcast. And then all of our content is on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I try to post daily, but that doesn't always happen. I'm trying to get better at that. And it's not just cleaning content. It's mostly cleaning content, but I'm also showing you the real life of somebody who's started a business from scratch and what that looks like behind the scenes. I would love to do listener stories in the next season. So please send those in, guys. Tell me your horror stories. If you're a cleaner, tell me them. I want to know what they are. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time. And remember to be kind.